Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to my voice modification workshop. Hello, YouTube. Hello, all the different Discords. Hello, everyone. Okay, so yeah, this is our voice modification workshop. We'll be going over the entire process of voice modification. So whether you're like brand new to doing trans voice stuff or whether you're like quite advanced but you still got some questions, this workshop should be for everybody. There'll be opportunities to ask questions and stuff. So yeah, let's get going. So firstly, some rules and etiquette for the workshop. I ask for all the people that are in the Discords right now to be respectful of learning environment and be respectful of your fellow attendees that are here. The main thing is just a matter of like random interruptions can send us off stray a little bit. By all means, ask questions. That's absolutely fine, and I super encourage that. But I don't necessarily need to hear about like, I don't know, what your dinner was tonight or something like that. So try and keep things really on topic. And yeah, hopefully we can all learn lots and lots. Also, we do have a little open forum section at the end. So if anyone in any of the Discords has questions about like their own voice and wants me to like, you know, spend 5-10 minutes looking at their voice, then we'll go through basically everyone that wants that until we've just exhausted everybody. So because of that, there isn't like an end time. We just keep going until there are no more questions. The longest we've had so far was like 5 hours. So yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to get absolutely everyone's needs met. Okie dokie. Are there any questions about the rules and etiquette stuff before I move on?
I do not believe so.
Okie dokie. So firstly, who am I? Hi, my name's Zara. Lovely to meet you. Let's get that camera actually looking at me.
Hey.
Yeah, it looks a bit better. Okay, that'll do. Yeah, hi, my name's Zara. I am your host for the evening. I have been working on my voice for about a year now. Yeah, I've been working for my voice for about a year. I think it was like, I guess it more than a year now. I need to update the presentation. That's still not looking at me. There we go. Yeah, I started my voice journey in like real early days was like October of 23, I think. Something like that. I don't know. It gets confusing. Yeah, about a year. I'm not a like professional voice coach yet, but I'm hoping to be one eventually. Right now I'm just sort of building experience and sort of, yeah, walking the path of getting there essentially. The important things though are what I'm not, okay? I'm not a professional vocal coach, so if there's something that I say that contradicts with like another coach that you've heard, it's maybe best to stick with what they've said because I am still learning and I do still make mistakes. Also, I'm not a medical professional. That's a really important one. So in these workshops or in anything I do, I'm never ever diagnosing anybody. I'm never giving any medical advice. I'm never ever treating anybody. All I'm ever doing is helping you to have the voice that you want to have. The closest I would ever come to something like this is if there's something that I hear that rings alarm bells to me and like, oh, that kind of sounds like a condition I'm aware of, I might recommend you speaking to a doctor. This doesn't mean that you have it. This doesn't mean that you've not got it. This just means speak to your doctor. That's it. Okay. Any questions about that? Is the camera stuttering for anyone else? Camera stutters do happen sometimes. If we're having camera issues, then I would recommend like watching on the YouTube. And yeah, I know it's annoying to have to go back and forth like that. But it seems to be an issue specifically for Trans Academy. I don't know why, but for some reason in Trans Academy we tend to have bitrate issues. So I think in Trans Voice, resolution is low for you as well over in Trans Voice. Oh no. Okay, if it's like an issue, then for the camera specifically, The resolution ain't great on my camera. It is pretty choppy right now. Why is it so choppy? Hopefully that'll fix itself. It's not normally this bad. I am just using my phone though, so yeah. But as long as the presentation's visible, that's the important bit. Okay, moving forward. So, maintaining your vocal health. This will apply during the workshop, and it applies to all of the voice practice that you do in your own time. So, important things are going to be staying hydrated. You'll all have noticed that I asked you to drink about a pint of water an hour ahead of time. The reasoning for that is simply that your vocal folds are some of the last areas to be hydrated. If we think about when we drink, often when we choke on like a drink or food or something, we'll say it went down the wrong hole. And when we say that, we're actually literally correct. There's two passages. There's the larynx and the pharynx. The pharynx is there for food and water as well as air passage. The larynx is only for air passage. So one of the issues that we have is all of our voice stuff happens in the larynx. So when we drink, it's going down the other hole. Hence, we're not choking on it. So none of that's actually being directly hydrated when we drink. It has to go through the whole digestive system into the bloodstream. Blood has to circulate through the area and provide that water, and then it's hydrated. So the whole process can take quite a while. So I usually recommend a pint of water an hour ahead of like one of these bigger practices. And then you can be pretty sure that you're pretty well hydrated. Best strategy is to just always be well hydrated. 2.5, 3 litres a day, you're going to be pretty okay. If you're on spironolactone, you might need more. Listen to your body and base it off there. Okay, other thing to do. We want to be staying really relaxed in our voice work. There's often a tendency that people have where they'll like push their voice to achieve certain sounds. And whenever we're pushing our voice, we're always going to run into problems. All of the sounds that involve you pushing are going to be sounds that you don't really want in your voice anyway. Like it shouldn't sound like you're always trying really hard to produce your voice, because that's just going to sound weird. It should be nice and relaxed. Like this right now, I can speak like this. I will be speaking like this for the next few hours. And it's just as easy for me to speak like this as it is for me to speak like this in my like unmodified voice. So yeah, it should be really, really nice and relaxed. That's also going to help us to avoid vocal injuries and stuff like that. I'll talk about that more in the things to avoid. So warm-ups. Warm-ups are going to be really good. They, again, help to avoid like strain and stuff, but also doing warm-ups will help increase blood flow to the area. I mentioned earlier about hydration. That's going to help to bring that blood flow to hydrate everything. It's also going to help with clearing up like issues. So if our mucus production is in an area that it shouldn't be, like too low mucus or too much mucus, then that's going to help to just deal with that situation. And it's also just a really good way to like stretch out our vocal folds, get things feeling good and feeling healthy. Things move just a bit more easily, they're a bit more limber after warm-ups. So warm-ups really good. We'll go more into those in the next slide. No, in 2 slides time. And lastly, things to do. Having fun is actually really, really important in voice work, like more so than anything else. Having fun means that we are exploring different things with our voice, and exploring is going to be like really, really key for learning how different things work. Also, when we're having fun, we're not going to be like super mind tunneling into a specific thing and getting really stressed out, which is going to affect our learning. And also when you like really try to tunnel vision and you ignore and you like, when you're like obsessively going after one thing and you're like getting stressed out by it, quite often bits of tension are going to start coming in. It's going to get worse and we're going to start pushing and things get worse and worse and you're going to hurt yourself. So try to just be relaxed about it, have some fun, and enjoy yourself. Yeah. Okay, things to avoid. These first bunch what I'm going to do aren't like that big of a deal. The next ones will be more of a big deal. So spicy foods, the capsaicin, that's the molecule that creates spice in spicy foods. That can irritate our vocal tract a little bit. Not a huge deal, but it can irritate things a little bit. So just avoid that like right before doing some voice stuff, because you might find yourself coughing a little bit and doing some damage, and it's not, it's not quite ideal. So again, you don't have to like cut it out of your life or anything, just right before voice work, maybe not a great idea. Caffeine, that also irritates the vocal tract a little bit, but it also dehydrates us quite a lot. You'll all know if you have like a bunch of coffees, then you end up peeing a bunch. Especially for my girlies that are on spironolactone as well, you're going to be peeing even more. So yeah, it's just going to mess with our hydration stuff quite a lot. Again, you can still drink coffee, you can still drink tea, Red Bulls, whatever, but don't do like 4 shots of espresso before your voice work or anything. Just keep things in moderation. Sugar, similar to the caffeine, it dehydrates us. So all the stuff I said about hydration, sugar dehydrates us. You don't have to cut it out of your life. Just don't have a ton of sugar right before doing voice work. Smoking and vaping. I won't go too much on that because I know people can get iffy about being told not to smoke. But obviously, I mean, you know it damages your vocal tract. That's very, very obvious. You don't have to like quit these things. But again, just keep them in moderation. And if you're going to do like a big training sit-down session, a cigarette before it is not going to help you at all. It's going to make things a lot harder. So just keep things in moderation. Lastly, dairy. Dairy will promote mucus production. I mentioned earlier that like there is a good level of mucus production, but dairy will just, whatever you're at, you'll be having more. Sometimes we don't want more. Sometimes we want to maintain where we're at. So dairy, it's just going to increase regardless of whether you need the extra mucus. So just keep that in mind. Again, you can have dairy. I have dairy. I love cheese. I love milk. But don't have it right before doing voice work. The next 3 are a bit more important. So strain in your voice, pain and tension, or pain and discomfort and tension. These are all big no-nos. If you're experiencing any of those, something is going wrong and you should stop. Stop, reflect on what just happened. How was your voice configured? And see if you can bring that strain away. It's not going to get you the sounds you want. It's going to hurt and you could cause damage. If you're experiencing pain specifically, then you are causing damage. Now, causing damage isn't like the end of the world. You might just have to take a few days off to let things recover. But that means a few days where you're not training, which is going to be really annoying. So don't injure yourself. Keep things nice and chill, and avoid pain and discomfort. If you were to keep repetitively pushing through the pain, then it's a low chance, but it can happen where you end up causing some actual like permanent damage. Permanent damage is in the form of little nodules that form on the scar tissue, and they have to be removed surgically. So if you're feeling pain and discomfort, strain, tension, those sorts of things, do not ever push through it, because that repetitive strain, that repetitive damage will cause you significant problems. So yeah, I don't want to like scare anybody. I've never even heard of somebody actually having that happen. Even if you do damage yourself, it's not a big deal, but do take a couple of days off. Any questions about that?
I have one question.
Yeah, go for it.
You say no dairy. Does that include like dairy alternatives? Like I drink.
I
soy
don't
milk, for
believe so.
example.
No, I don't. I think that is specifically like dairy, as in like lactose things. I don't know if that's super certain, but I'm pretty sure it is just like cow milk.
Okay, thank you. And I assume goats and other stuff. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Animal milk. The non-milk milks aren't actually milk. They're just like nut juice, essentially. But yeah. Also, it's not necessarily no dairy, just like keep it in moderation. I still have dairy. You can too. It's okay. All right. Any other questions about that? As Sifrin says, yeah, it also builds bad habits if you're pushing through the pain and the strain. And it's not going to make the sound you want it to make. Like if I sound like this and I'm really pushing through that pain and that strain, that doesn't sound good. So yeah, it's just not what you want. Mew says, love your hair. Thank you so much. This is my new hair. I got this done like last week. So thank you for noticing. Should we not do voice training if our voice feels strained because we're sick? Yeah, if you're sick, have a bit of a rest. Wait until you're feeling better again. Wait until all of that discomfort in your throat is gone. And then you can come back to it. Because better to take a week off or 2 weeks off because you're ill than have to take like a, even more time off because you're ill and then you hurt yourself. Yeah, just rest up. It'll be fine. Okie dokie. So, yeah, so I mentioned earlier how relaxing our voice can be really important, and that we want to avoid pain, discomfort, all of those sorts of things. So the first little thing we're going to do to try and avoid all of that and make sure everything's all good for you guys participating is we're going to do a little breathing exercise. You can do this unmuted or you can do this muted. Again, disclaimer, we are streaming to YouTube right now. They can hear everything. They only see the presentation and like me and stuff. But yeah, so we'll do a little breathing exercise. It's going to be very simple. Just, follow my breathing. So we'll all breathe in. Hold. And breathe out. Breathe in.
Should I breathe with my nose or my mouth?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
I prefer my nose, but whatever's most relaxing for you. Okay, breathe in. Hold. And breathe out. One more time, breathe in. Hold. And breathe out. There we go. Try to just maintain that level of relaxation that you're in right now. Okie dokie. So, I mentioned earlier some warm-ups. That's what we're going to do now. Our warm-ups are going to be semi-occluded vocal tract exercises, or SOVTs. The idea behind this is as you're talking, air is coming out from your lungs, up from your trachea into your vocal tract. From there, it's pushing through the vocal folds, up, out through your mouth. Okay? And that's how we make like sounds and stuff. Now, this comes with a slight problem of that's just a lot of air pressure on your vocal folds. Okay? They're very, very delicate. And yeah, we're creating pressure there. Not a huge deal, but we can reduce that pressure by doing a SOVT. The idea is that semi-occluded bit, that just means like partially closed, essentially. So the front of a vocal tract, like our mouths, we want partial closure. All right? We can do this in a huge variety of ways. Really popular one is going to be the lip trill. We can do a tongue trill. We can make a yang sound. Yang. We could do like a Z. Zzz. You can hear I'm horrible at Zs. I can't even like maintain a Z. I don't know why. Even though my name starts with Z, but whatever. Was there a question there? Sorry.
I think you might have noise suppression on those we're cutting out.
Oh, thank you so much. I absolutely will do on Trans Network and Trans Voice. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, so that will be... Okay, Trans Voice, that should be working now. You should hear on my audio, or you should see on my audio that it looks like it's always on. Boo, 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 boo. And... Okay, and there's Trans Network done. Okay, thank you for that little reminder. So yeah, so to go back over those, there's the lip trill. That's probably the most popular one. Most people find that the easiest. We can do the tongue trill. We could do Z, Zzz. I suck at that one. We could do like an N. We can't do an M. Humming doesn't work as well. That doesn't work as well. So avoid hum. Do all the rest of them though. Just anything where we're making that partial closure. Okay? But the popular ones are going to be lip trills and tongue trills. They're like the easiest ones to do. So that's what I recommend for most people. There's also the best one. All of them are basically the same. Humming is a bit worse than all of them. All the rest are basically the same, apart from one absolute king/queen/whatever monarch you want to use. The straw bubble phonation. So, to do a little bubble phonation, we're going to, or straw phonation, take a straw. It doesn't matter what straw. That's a filthy straw. I need to clean that. Take a straw and get some water and just dip your straw into the water. It wants to be like that far in maybe, but you'll be able to tell how far in it should be once you're in and once you're doing it. So dunk it in and just blow some bubbles. And then while you're blowing the bubbles, I want you to start making some sound through that. From there, we then start moving our pitch around like we were before. Okay, and that's it. It's as simple as that. So what I usually recommend for people is we'll move it around our pitch. I want you to picture a pendulum, okay? Pendulums sort of, they'll start like up here and they'll swing around until they slowly run out of energy. I want you to do that in reverse. So we're going to have pitch up, pitch down, pitch up further, pitch down further, pitch up further still, lower still, and just keep going until you reach the ends of your pitch range. Make sure you aren't just going up, but you're also going down, okay? So, let's do that together now. Again, you can either be muted or not muted, whatever you want to go for. And you can use whatever you want to do. If you don't have a straw and bottle, I recommend the lip trill. If you can't do lip trills, the tongue trill. Most people can do one of those. If you can't do either of those, do one of the other things I suggested, I suppose. If you do have a straw handy and a bottle of water, it could be a glass of water or whatever. It just has to, you've got to be able to blow bubbles. Be warned, if you use a glass of water, you're going to splash everywhere. It will happen. But yeah, so we'll go through that now. All right. You can just follow my pitch if you want to. You don't need to be doing all of these in one breath, by the way. You can take breaths whenever you need to.
Oh, okay.
I
Sorry.
breathe like in between each one. Once you get to the end of your pitch range, we're going to do one where we go up, and we're going to do a little siren, and then we'll do the same thing down. That'll sound like this. So that's going up and down again. And then we'll do the same thing going down, and then do a little Siren, up, down, and back up again. Okay. And that should give us just a nice little workout for our vocal tract. Oh, sorry, for our vocal folds specifically.
Did that sound okay?
Sounded fine, yeah. You should feel now that everything is just, it moves just a bit more easily. I find everything is much more relaxed now, and I'm able to produce my phone voice in a much just easier way for me. It just feels easier. If you are specifically somebody who barely talks, if you're only talking for like 1 or 2 hours a day, then you might be a vocal underdoer. A vocal underdoer is somebody who speaks so little that the articulatory muscles of the vocal tract, the things that are moving those vocal folds, open and closed, they've started to atrophy a bit, and you literally have like fatigue if you talk too much. So softies are something that for you will actually help you build that muscle back up. For most of what we're doing, for all of what we're doing, for almost everybody, is nothing to do with building muscle and everything to do with learning how to use those muscles. Kind of like playing guitar. We're not trying to build like huge finger muscles or something. You're just learning how to use those in a very precise manner. Specifically though, if you are a vocal underdoer, you might actually have to build that muscle back up. Softies are going to be the way to do that. I recommend if you are brand new to voice work, especially if you're a vocal underdoer, then just start with softies, and for about a week, literally just do these several times a day for like 30 seconds or so. That's going to help you build like a really nice like platform to start your voice work from. Obviously, this isn't going to help you with actually feminizing or masculinizing or androgenizing, but this is going to make sure that everything is just in a really nice and healthy position before you get into it. It'll also help you just build the habit of keeping things nice and relaxed, and help you build the habit of just practicing. Because these are like a really quick thing that you can just do. Even if like, like we did that was like a few minutes there, I would say like that's perfect. But if you just did like an up and down, that's still something, and that still counts. And I would rather you be doing that than nothing at all. In terms of practice, and this applies to all practicing for everything we do with voice, the main key is frequency. I don't care how long you spend doing it. 1 hour long practice a day is trash and sucks. 5 30-second, minute, 2-minute practices are amazing. If you're doing it often, that's what I'm after. How long you do it for, I don't really care too much. Big like hour-long practices can be really good for like exploring and figuring out new stuff, but for actually practicing that stuff, it's the frequency that matters. Any questions about that? About softies? About why we do them? About practicing in general? Yeah, any of that in chats. Or if you want to say your question out loud, that's also fine. If you're seeing like 10 pixels, then I can't fix that, I'm afraid. It's just a little internet issue. If you do the lip trill, try to hold it for as long as you can without breaking and without pushing all the air out of your lungs. Yeah, that could be fine. I don't really mind if you're just doing a quick practice and you don't necessarily do that. But yeah, that can also be a thing, especially if you're like a vocal underdoer, like going for the entire breath. Download more RAM? Yeah, I know, right? I need to download more bandwidth. Okie dokie. Let's move forward. All right, let's move to our very first vocal modification thing for like gendered stuff. So we're going to talk about vocal weight. Specifically, this is like the perception of vocal weight. So the actual sound itself. So in terms of how this is being made, your vocal folds, I guess we'll go through the whole process of talking. So when we talk, as I'm making sound to you right now, air is being pushed out through my lungs, as I said earlier. It's going through the vocal folds and interfacing with them. The vocal folds are opening and closing really freaking quick. So like if you're talking at like 200 hertz, which I think is about my bass, I don't know, maybe I'm a bit lower. Yeah, if you're talking at like 200 hertz, then your vocal folds are opening and closing 200 times a second. Okay, that hertz is the pitch. All right. So very, very simple. As the vocal folds open and close, that is applying pitch, and the rate that they do that is literally 1-to-1 with hertz. The higher the hertz, the higher the pitch. Will you need the straw again, or can you get your drink back? No, you won't need your straw again. Yeah, so as they open and close, that is pitch. Okay. Now during each of those close, open, closed again, we call those glottal cycles. All right. Within each glottal cycle, we can like have a bit of variation there, in like with the individual cycles themselves. Our closed, open, and then closed again. All right. We can think of there being like an amount of time we are closed versus the amount of time we are open. All right. If we have like a more closed quotient, then that's going to make the sound heavier. All right. If we have a more open quotient, then that's going to make the sound lighter. All right. Other words are going to be like buzzy, gentle, soft, intensity, things like that. All right. So I'll demonstrate that for you now. I want you to listen out for that buzziness, that roughness, okay, versus the gentleness and the softness in the two sounds I'm about to make. All right. I'll make 4 sounds now. I'll like really show you. Okay. So, this is me talking right now. This is me talking right now. Okay. If I drop my resonance back down and I end up in like a more masculine area, yeah, do you hear that buzziness in my voice? Or that gentleness versus for like roughness, buzziness, the intensity. Can you hear that like sound? So like you can hear the same thing between like and they both have that same thing, whereas me talking right now and both have that same thing as well, or like their own same thing. Yeah. So that difference is the sound of a lighter vocal weight or a heavier vocal weight. Okay? Or mechanically, it's a more open quotient for that lighter weight or a more closed quotient for that heavier weight. Okay? So, some exercises for you guys to try this out. All right? I want you to imagine that you're holding a little baby. Okay? It's a sleeping baby or it's falling asleep. Okay? So we're just going to kind of coo and talk to the baby a little bit. All right? We're going to be really gentle as we speak to this baby because we don't want it to wake up. We want it to be like nice and relaxed, falling asleep. Like, cute baby. Isn't this baby very lovely?
Baby, you're so cute. You're going to grow up big and strong. And one day you'll grow some amazing flowers.
Now I want you to imagine, okay, that baby has just been sick on you. Gross. Yeah, you hear that buzziness, okay? All right. That is our heavyweight versus our lightweight. Yeah? Is that nice and clear for everyone? Another example can be like the ASMR voice versus like the sports announcer. Like if I'm kind of talking right now in my like really ASMR kind of a way, or if I'm like, hey, baseball, things to do with sports, you know, that's like the difference. Yeah.
We're just gonna talk very quietly. We're just gonna let those little voice tunes. Oh my God! And here comes Randy Orton with an RKO out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I'm loud.
No, you're okay. Now, notice, okay? It will sound louder. That's because when things are heavier, they sound like they're louder, even if they're not. But also, because of that, because we're humans and we tend to move things in like a more extreme, you'll probably intuitively go louder as well. So you kind of need to piece them apart from each other a little bit. If you listen to my voice now, the volume didn't change at all. Even if it sounded a bit louder, the volume didn't change at all. Okay? So really be aware of that. That yes, a volume shift might happen, but you're listening for that buzziness change. Okay? And make sure you're not just going louder, you are going buzzier as well. Yeah?
We're gonna take a nice, gentle trip.
Yeah, you hear that gentleness in their voice there.
Slowly. Oh my God! A tope suicida, mamma mia!
And that's the difference. Okay?
I didn't go loud that time. Yay!
Okay, does anybody have any questions about that? I can see some typing happening, so I'll just wait for that to come through. If anybody's struggling to reproduce that at home, okay, another thing you can do if you're really struggling with weight stuff is this is only really for the trans femmes. A heavier sound carries sound energy in a wider frequency range. There's a lot of perceptual things going on. Yeah, there's almost like more information in a heavier sound. Like there's literally like more sound, I suppose. So that's going to make it sound louder. There's also like humans kind of have this heavier weight so that we can alert each other. If you think of like, I don't know, you're in your like tribe or whatever, and some predator is coming along to like attack you or something. You're going to be going like, okay? Probably louder than that, but I don't want my neighbours to be too...
Predator.
Exactly. I don't want my neighbours to be too bothered, so I'm not going to go too loud. But you get the idea. Things are going to be really buzzy in that area, okay? So that's why we kind of have it, and that's why you will hear it and be like, immediately, it's going to be like annoying. You're going to hear it louder, and it's going to be really in your face. Versus gentler things are meant to be like more soothing, so they're not going to be as in your face. But yeah, if you're struggling with this, you can try just going a big old yawn. And then kind of talking like this in that yawny voice, okay? That yawn is going to make things very gentle. You're going to be talking in this very kind of weird, hollow way, but you are going to be very gentle, okay? So if you're really struggling, just... and then kind of talk like this, and now you're in that gentler weight. And then from there, start to move it back over to here, and now you're in that heavier kind of an area, yeah? And then start working on being able to do that and moving back over to here without having to use that yawn necessarily. Just so you can start getting an idea for it. Any other questions before we move forward? For the trans femmes, I often recommend that this is a nice place to start. Obviously, do your softies first, your week of softies. Still be doing your softies throughout everything. I still do softies. But yeah, you can move towards vocal weight as your first thing for the trans femmes, or for anyone feminizing their voice, I should say. And for anyone masculizing their voice, I would say move do weight second. We'll do the next bit first. Okay, that's going to be resonance or like larynx height, you know, that sort of stuff. Vocal tract resonance.
Is the vocal weight same as vocal size?
Vocal weight isn't the same as vocal size. So size is going to be the next thing. If you hear vocal tract resonance, that resonance is changed by the size of the vocal tract. As I say, I'll go into more detail on that in the next bit, but that's why you'll hear those two terms, size and resonance, being used interchangeably.
Okay.
The equivalent here is vocal weight being almost used interchangeably with quotient. That's again because the quotient is like the mechanics of it, where it's a more open quotient or a more closed quotient. And then weight is like the sound that is producing as a result. A lighter weight versus a heavier weight. You can all enjoy my clicky joints. Okay, we'll move forward then if there's no other questions. So, vocal tract size and the resulting resonance. Okay, I'm going to do a little demonstration and it should make it really, really clear what we're doing here. So, if we have an object with a hole in it, like a chamber, we'll call it, like a box of air, okay? If we have a box of air, when we tap on that object, it'll make a sound. Or when the air is moving through that object, it's going to make a sound. All right? That's the sound of my ukulele when I tap it. It's the sound of the air resonating through the wood. Okay? So that's the resonant sound of the body of my ukulele. All right? Now if I get my guitar, okay, same sort of shape, roughly speaking, but it's a lot bigger, okay? You can hear it's a totally different sound. It's a way darker sound. That difference, because we're doing the same thing, we're just tapping, the only thing that changed is the size of that chamber, okay? The smaller chamber made a brighter sound. The larger chamber made a darker sound, okay? And that sound, because it's tapping, it's the sound of the air resonating through the chamber, okay? So, the same thing happens in our vocal tract. The air passes through, we apply sound to it with the vocal folds intersecting, and then as that bounces around the chambers of our vocal tract, resonance is applied, if that makes sense. It's like a simplified way of putting it, but hopefully that makes reasonable sense. So we have a few different resonant chambers going on. We have our first resonant chamber, often called the R1. That's going to be our larynx, okay? Where your Adam's apple is, that's like a wall of the larynx. But in here is like a whole chamber, okay? Some people call it like the voice box. Going up, we'll have our mouth space, okay? That's going to be our R2. Continuing out, we have our lips, that's R3. Technically, you also got like the nasal cavity, which is also part of R2. But yeah, so R1, R2, R3. Okay? All right, so in terms of what to do with this information, you need your mouth space for like talking. Like as I'm saying words, my tongue's moving all over the place, all sorts of things are happening in my mouth. So I kind of need that. I can't use that at the moment for changing resonance, because that's going to change the words that I say. Same thing with my lips. I can't really change that much because I'm using them. They're busy at the moment. But my larynx height, I can change. Okay, that R1, I can change what's going on with my larynx because I'm not using that in talking. So what I can do is I can raise the floor of that larynx just using my muscles to make that chamber smaller. So like the ukulele, it's going to have a brighter sound than the guitar with the larger chamber. Okay, so we can do this quite simply. That little Adam's apple can go up and down. If you look at mine, okay. If you listen to the sound that makes, okay, totally different sounds. All right. If I then do that in my voice, 1 1 1. 1 1 1 1. So it totally changes the sound that we're making, all right? Just without larynx being higher or lower. Okay? Now, that's the mechanics of it. So if you hear somebody referring to vocal tract size, we're talking about this stuff. If you hear someone talking about larynx height, we're talking about this stuff. However, I don't want you thinking about your larynx. I don't want you thinking about your vocal tract. All of the stuff I've just said gives you like the surrounding context for what we're doing, but I don't want you to think about any of that when you're actually trying to change stuff, okay? All I want you to focus on, and this applies for everything voice work, all I ever want you to think about is the sound, okay? Listen to the sound difference. That sound is what you're changing. So, to do this, all right, I want everybody, give a little go. I want you to try and pant like a really big dog. Okay? 1 2 3.
1 2 3.
Yeah? Now, okay? Now go for a really small dog, like a Chihuahua or a Pomeranian. Now make sure this is a pant, okay? It's a pant, so it's just going to be in that like whispery kind of area. Not hair. It's okay? And then bring that into phonation. 1 2 3. Now, okay, the person that's giving it a go there, can you hear that, one, you're struggling quite a lot there. There's a lot of strain there. So what I want you to do, don't like push it super hard. I don't want like, I just want, yeah, you're pushing a whole ton there. Nice and gentle. And I don't want the, just.
This is hard, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. We're going through this. I'm using you to like present problems that everybody else might run into.
That's one of the reasons I put my voice on, because I know I'm probably not very good at it. So
No, it's okay. It's okay. So everybody can learn right now off of how Mail's doing it. Is that Mail? Mail?
I pronounce it Meryl, but it's
Meryl,
It's,
okay.
It's an elf name I randomly generated one time.
Yeah,
and
that's
stuck
fine.
with it since then, so.
Meryl. Okay. So yeah, what I want, again, we can hear in Meryl's voice there, but I don't want that bit, okay? Just a whisper. That's it. Okay? Nice and gentle. And then just really gently bring that into talking.
1 2 3.
1 2 3.
1 2 3.
Okay,
do
do you feel
like I'm struggling?
Yeah, do you feel that huge amount that you're
Yeah.
pushing? Yeah?
Yes,
Lay
sorry.
all of that off. Go lazy.
It's really
okay?
hard. I'm so
I
sorry.
know. All of that effort though, I want none of it. Don't put effort into this. Just like the same amount of effort as your normal talking.
1 2 3. I keep putting. Damn it! It's really annoying.
That's okay. It's okay. So this is something you'll have to practice on your own.
Yeah.
I can hear you going into like M2, into like that falsetto. So like we're kind of going into this space here, kind of like a Mickey Mouse kind of a sound. None of that, okay? It should be the exact same as you talking right now. Like that was me
I'm
dropping
talking
my
right now.
resonance, and then I'm talking again, and I'm bringing it up here. It's normal talking.
Okay. Normal talking.
I'm still hearing tons of effort in your voice there, Meryl.
Why
Okay.
can't I do this?
I know. Okay, you can practice that at home for a bit. Also, this is going to be, if you're feminizing your voice, this is the second thing to go for. So if you're not getting it now, don't worry about it. As you do the vocal weight stuff, that's going to help you tremendously. I do not know how to pronounce that name because that is in Japanese characters. However, person whose name is in Japanese characters, one thing you sort of been struggling with as of late has been this sort of sound that kind of resonates when you speak. It's terror. Okay. Terror. I don't know what you mean. It might be the buzziness, in which case focus on the vocal weight first. Shed that weight, then move on to this. It's helpful you're writing it all down. I'm very, very glad. Remember that this, the VOD of this will be like up for, I guess, ever on the YouTubes. So you can go back over any of this if you need to. Okay, a couple of things about this. And we'll go into some more different exercises if you're struggling with Big Dog, Little Dog. But I just want to give you a bit more information as we discuss vocal tract size stuff. So you'll notice if I just go, I'll start up here and then I'll go down, okay? And now I'm talking over here. Okay? That sound, the pitch didn't change, okay? I'll do the same thing. I'll just be up here, but I will change the pitch instead of changing the resonance, okay? Do you hear how they're different things? Yeah? That takes like a lot of learning and a lot of figuring out. So it's okay if you struggle with that at first, but it's really crucial you remember this isn't pitch, okay? If you can like play a melody, or if you can like, you know, like if you can match it with like the pitch of something else, that's gonna be pitch. But I can't go, like what would I even do? Doesn't apply to, yeah. So remember, this isn't pitch. All right, that's really important. The best way to practice it and make sure that your pitch is not the thing you're moving is just don't move your pitch at all. Stay completely monotonous, okay? My pitch isn't moving. I'm just staying the exact same like a robot. And my pitch still hasn't changed. I'm the exact same like a robot. Yeah, that'll help you out. Also, the reason why we did that Big Dog, Little Dog is because when we're doing that, we're essentially whispering, okay? We're whispering, and when we whisper, our vocal folds, they don't make much contact. So because they don't make contact, do you remember earlier I told you as they open and close and open and close really quick, that applies pitch. So if they're not closing, there's no pitch. So you know that the only thing that's changing is your resonance, okay? We can apply this, an exercise I've forgotten to write there, but we can apply this if we want to, like to individual vowels, and that can be really useful. So like if we're whispering, I'm going to do like an ah sound, okay? Yeah? Hopefully that's reasonably clear. So that whispered space, the only way it's going up and down is by changing resonance. It's not possible to change it in any other way. Yeah?
Is that correct?
Can you do it once more for me? So start off nice and low. With a whisper. Start with a whisper. Okay. That's not whispering.
Fuck! I blame being raised in a house with like 4 people. I had to yell a lot.
Yeah, fair enough. So can you hear me right now? whispering. Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
Whispering.
This is a whisper.
Whispering.
Okay. So then. Move it up in the whisper. Just stay in that whispered space. Stay in the whispered space. Then when we've hit the point we want, then bring it into talking. Now I'm in the space I wanted to be in.
No, I'm feeling like I'm straining. I'm just not doing this right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so just listen to what I'm doing for a moment, okay? Listen to what I'm doing.
Now I'm kind of talking like this. Oh, and now I'm talking like this.
Okay? And now the other way. And now I'm talking like this. Okay. And now I'm talking like this. Stream is frozen on Discord. Oh no. Is it totally screwed and dead? It's blocky. Yeah, we're having some issues with pixelated stuff. I think it's just an internet issue. Discord is struggling. However, if you wanted to watch it really clear, yeah, it's also not consistent through all different Discords. Trans Academy definitely has it the worst. Video is cooked. Yeah, fair enough. As long as you got the audio, that's the important bit. But if you are wanting to see it clearer, move over to like watch it on YouTube, but still listen. Make sure you mute the YouTube when you're doing that, so you don't like hear me twice. And yeah, the stream is always really clear when it's on the YouTube, so you can do that if you need to. You have stream on your TV because Discord is like 10 seconds per frame. Yeah, it do be like that sometimes. I think just because we're doing so many things at once, it just struggles a little bit. So watch it through the YouTube, listen through the Discord if you need to. There might be a slight delay, but I've tried to make it as little delay as possible. Yeah, we're in 3 Discords and the YouTube, so. Okay, so again, size and resonance, right? We're in that whispered space. There is no pitch with whisper. So if we move a sound and it sounds higher, that means we've shrank our vocal tract size and we're making a brighter resonance, okay? We'll usually use the terms brighter and darker instead of higher and lower, simply because higher and lower, we're thinking pitch. And I really, really want to stress that this isn't pitch. It's a different thing, okay? So we use that separate language to help separate those in our brains, okay? Darker, brighter. Right now I'm bright.
Right now I'm dark.
Okay? Higher, lower. That's pitch versus resonance.
I'm sorry.
Good method for getting higher pitch, if you need, is play some Nautica VR. Yeah, that'll give you some higher pitch.
I was going to ask a question and
some
then,
shrieks.
And then I saw that and then I started laughing.
Yeah, by the way, this size resonance stuff, this is really difficult. So anybody that's struggling with this is really difficult. So like, don't worry, it's okay. Take your time, move through this slowly. All right? And always don't... A lot of people try to like skip the whisper and they're desperate to go into voice. Don't skip the whisper. Sit in there for a little bit. Really listen to the sound of that whisper. Have it in your head and then move into the phonation. All right? Always do move into the phonation because like that's what we're trying to change at the end of the day. But make sure we are like spending some time in that whisper and really engaging with it before we move into that phonation. All right? It's weird having my Adam's apple going so high that you can no longer feel it long. Yeah, that's another nice advantage for the trans femmes. If you like aren't a fan of your Adam's apple, you can see that mine right now, it's still visible, but it's not as visible. If I go back down here, it's a lot more visible. You can really see my Adam's apple now. If I move it over here, it's not as prevalent. So it can also help with it. If you have dysphoria around that specifically, then it can help with that. Yeah. So, do we have any questions about size and resonance stuff? This is going to be like the most dramatic change in your voice. It's probably going to be like one of the hardest things to do. So like, if you're struggling, do not worry. Can you use your finger to lift the Adam's apple? Absolutely not. Don't ever do anything like that, okay? Again, don't focus on the movement Focus on the sound. All right. Also, definitely don't ever push don't ever push things in your throat because you need that for breathing. I don't want you hurting yourself, and you're almost certainly going to hurt yourself if you try to like push your Adam's apple up. That's going to hurt. You might choke yourself. I don't want to be responsible for anything like that. So really be careful with that. If you're struggling to swallow because of a raised larynx, you're probably doing a lot more than raising your larynx. You probably have a bunch of tension. Something's going wrong there. Speaking of swallowing, okay? The reason we can do this larynx movement is because you use it when you swallow, okay? If I swallow, you can see my larynx move, especially if I go back down here. If I swallow, you can see it going up and down, okay? Because of this, there is an idea that's spread around called swallow and hold. The idea being, you swallow, as it gets to the top, you hold it there. The problem with that is that's not the only thing you do when you swallow. There's also like the rest of the swallowing happening. Because of this, if you were to try to use that to move your larynx, you're going to associate a whole bunch of other behaviors at the same time. And as you're talking through that, okay, you're not meant to be talking as you're swallowing. All right? So that's going to create a bunch of tension and a bunch of discomfort in a whole bunch of areas as you're talking. This is not good. This is very, very bad. Odds are you're going to have some vocal injuries happening if you follow the swallow and hold technique. So super avoid that. Avoid anything where it's like, feel this area or whatever. Ignore all of those, okay? Like in the vocal weight stuff, I hear a lot of people talk about like, oh, move the vibrations from this area to this area. Which like, maybe, but people's bodies are different shapes and sizes. So like, some people will feel the vibrations, some people won't. Some people will feel vibrations in totally different areas. I don't feel anything in my body vibrate whenever I'm talking. If I do like really diaphragmatic talking, like people do in singing, I can kind of feel it a little bit in my tum-tum, but like generally I don't feel any buzzing ever as like a physical thing. There's just, people vary too much for any of that stuff to work. Best strategy, listen to the sound you're making. It's the sound you're wanting to change. It's not a sensation. So focus on the sound. That's always going to be the best option. There are going to be some individuals that just can't get it through sound. I would say like really exhaust your options before that. But if you just can't get it, then you can look towards some sensation stuff, but with the goal of just using that to figure it out and then moving it back to sound. Really, that's the goal. You want to be moving things through sound because like that's the thing you're trying to change, the sound of your voice. Okie dokie. So questions. The pitch of a true whisper is exactly resonance. Yeah. There is no pitch of a whisper is the thing. What was that, sorry? Was there a question there? No, maybe not. The pitch of a true whisper is exactly resonance. If you think of a high whisper combined with a normal pitch, then you'll start to decouple these in your motor cortex. Yeah, essentially that high and low in a whisper is resonance because you can't add pitch to a whisper. Also, don't do what I did and force a sound that just doesn't feel natural for you. Yeah, this should be really nice and really chilled out. Sound died. Oh, wait. Can you guys hear me still? Are we... You can still hear? Okay. Yeah, that might be an issue for you, Beth. All the sound is still okay? Okay, cool. Whispers have a pitch, it's just distributed differently than a regular voice thing, similar to drums. My understanding is pitch is literally not present in a whisper. Maybe I need to do some more research on that. My understanding is that the vocal folds aren't making enough contact for pitch to be applied. Pitch is present in any sound? Okay, maybe. I'll look that up in my own time. Certainly for the sake of your practicing though, assume that whispers, it's moving resonance, not pitch. Maybe you need to learn how to whisper. Whispering is like this. This is what a whisper sounds like.
This is what a whisper sounds like. This is how it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what a whisper sounds like. Good job. Bo is technically correct, but it's complicated. Okay, no worries. For purposes of everybody here, no pitch in a whisper. That's simple enough that it will work for what you're doing. Okie dokie. Any other questions about resonance stuff or vocal tract size stuff? Again, if people are referring to a smaller size or like a smaller voice versus a larger voice, that can be that brighter versus darker, because it's a smaller vocal tract versus a larger vocal tract. If you hear people talking about raising the larynx or lowering the larynx, that's again this stuff. Any of that. You notice you developed a kind of hiss or a kind of S when you speak. No clue why. I don't know either. That sounds bizarre. Is it like a whistle going through your voice? It could be a constriction thing, maybe. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, if we're going like really into vocal terms, yeah, fundamental frequency. Wait, I always mess this up. Fundamental frequency is pitch, isn't it? Right? I'm pretty sure it is. I don't remember. That stuff is like boring. That's reading. Like, so, how are you? Instead of so, how are you? You kind of emphasize the S. I guess do that less. That's my best thing. Okie dokie. Let's continue. No. Oh, sorry. All right, let's continue. So, yeah. All right. Let's keep going. So, quick break to summarize what we've just been over. In terms of how you should be approaching all of this stuff. Again, if you are brand new to voice work, just start off with some softies. They're not going to edit your voice in any way, but they are going to have you in a really good like vocal hygiene position to get things started. You'll form really good habits with you'll form good habits of just practicing and getting that routine of practicing 4 or 5 times a day. You're also going to you'll form good habits in terms of like vocal posture. You'll be avoiding strain and stuff, especially with strophinations. Like they really encourage you to not tense up. So get those softies going. Then if you are which way around you do weight and size doesn't really matter that much. But generally I recommend the people feminizing their voice start on vocal weight. People masculizing their voice start on vocal tract size. The main reasoning for that, we'll go back real quick. The main reasoning for that is that yawn voice thing, okay? You remember,
I could kind of talk like this. This is specifically a light vocal weight with a really, really, really insanely dark resonance, okay?
so we can use that as a little hack thing just to get us into that space. So if you are masculizing, you might want to use that to get to that darker space if you're really struggling with your exercises. I generally prefer the other exercises because they get us moving all around, but just to plug yourself in, you can use that yawn voice. And then going back, that yawn voice can help us with that lighter weight as well. Yeah. You missed the part. You missed one of the parts. Vocal weight, possibly. Can you find it on YouTube? Yeah, you can go onto this YouTube. Go on, if you want. If you missed something, go onto the YouTube. Set it to like 1.25 speed or whatever is a speed that you feel you can still engage with. Obviously, the sounds are going to be a little bit messed up and maybe like make it go back to normal speed for listening stuff. But just if I'm talking 1.25 speed, so that you start catching up and eventually you'll be like at the same sort of situation. Can you post the link to the stream in Discord? Probably not, because you're in Trans Academy, and like that's my content, and I would feel bad like linking it in other people's Discords. I feel like that's definitely against the rules. You could put it in the or I suppose I could put it in the self-promo bit. But for the Discord, for the YouTube, it's very simple. youtube.com/@transnetwork-12. Okay? In fact, just on YouTube, look up Trans Network. I'm pretty sure I look up... Oh, you said... Thank you so much. Thank you, Tara. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like I show up first now on Trans Network. You'll see the logo. The logo is like the icon for it. Yeah, thank you guys so much for subbing. youtube.com/@transnetwork-12 if you're struggling to find it. Or even just click on my like user profile in the Discord and it should be linked. Okie dokie. Yeah, speaking of that, I suppose we can go over all the little plug stuff. There are links all below me right now. We have YouTube. All of the content is streamed onto YouTube, so definitely go there if you want all the content. Right now, I don't have any videos up. I will do those, I promise. I'm getting around to it, okay? I'm looking for an ADHD diagnosis at this point because I just can't get myself to make the videos, but I will do it eventually, okay? And they're going to be like the whole process of voice feminization and voice masculinization as like 2 series. So just pay attention. I promise one day they will be there. Also, everything we stream is going to be on there. The VODs will stay up there forever. So you can use those. They're super, super useful. It's these workshops that you're in right now. What else? We have the Discord. The Discord is like the main hub for everything Trans Network. The link is also somewhere below me. Highly recommend joining the Discord. I do free private one-on-one lessons in the Discord as well. That's where all of the private lessons happen. Right now they're currently closed because they're fully booked. But just keep your eyes peeled and they'll open up again. What else have we got? Yeah, Discord is really the main place for everything. If you're like interested in this and this is helpful for you, Discord is absolutely the place to join. Lastly, I do all of this for free. Everything I do is for free, including for private lessons, for workshops, literally absolutely everything is free. But I do ask if you can afford it. We have just started a Ko-fi link, which should be below me. Is it ko-fi.com/transnetwork? I think that's what the link is. I mean, it is right below me right now. Yeah. ko-fi.com/transnetwork. As I say, I do everything for free. But for anyone that can afford to support, I do really appreciate that support. As we sort of like build up some more money, I'm hoping eventually to get certified as a vocal coach with the Seattle Voice Lab certification process. But that costs $1,500. It's really expensive. So once we get there, that's what I want to do. That's what your money is going towards. It's providing free trans voice lessons for everyone. So yeah, if you can afford to, then your support is greatly, greatly appreciated. Also, we have like some bonus content coming there soon. None of that is voice stuff. It's all just like me stuff. If you're interested in me and what I'm doing, then that's where I'll put that. But all of our voice stuff is free. Nothing is paywalled at all. Cool. You'd love to have some lessons sometime. You're doing great so far. Thank you so much. I sound wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. You can have free lessons. Just join the Discord. Right now, as I say, they're closed because I'm fully booked. But as soon as we open them up again, then you can have that. Also, our current goal is if we can get 100 subscribers on the Ko-fi, whatever tier, then I can like book off a full day a week and we can like double the amount of lessons we can do. Because right now I'm working full time, so we can only do so many lessons. It's just my evenings. Yeah. Okay. There's all the plugging. I have shilled all the stuff. Okay. Yeah. All of that aside. Linguistics is where I've learned a lot of this, so I'm just like applying that in like a really beginner friendly way. Linguistics, Trans Academy, Trans Voice lessons on YouTube. Sort of all of this comes from all of these people like mingled together. All right, let's keep going then. So we've gone over to really important Excuse me. Am I done? I'm done. Okay, we've gone over two like really important parts of the gendering of a voice there. That being vocal weight or quotient, and vocal tract size or resonance. Okay? Now those two things, they also kind of interact with each other. Okay? Fullness is a bit of a weird thing. It's only perceptual. It's kind of, voices sound more normal, in quotations. Voices sound more normal when they sound more full. Okay? They sound more cartoonish when they're not full. Okay? Now, that fullness is a product of your vocal weight and your resonance interacting. All right? If you have a vocal weight that's proportional to your resonance, things are going to sound full. So a light weight paired with a bright resonance is going to sound full. A dark resonance paired with a heavy vocal weight is going to sound full. Middles are going to sound full, okay? If you look at that graph, it's that kind of line going through, okay? Does that make sense? And as we move away from that line, you still got quite a lot of wiggle room. Like, things aren't going to just immediately sound cartoonish. You don't need to be perfectly full. But the further we part from that line, the more things are going to sound a bit cartoonish. To really demonstrate this, right now, I have a bright resonance and a light vocal weight. So hopefully, if I'm doing my voice right, I sound full and I sound feminine. Okay?
But if I was to start dropping that resonance, and now I've still got that light vocal weight, but I've got a much darker resonance, things don't really sound masculine anymore. Sorry, things don't sound feminine anymore. They don't really sound masculine that much. They just kind of sound a bit weird, okay? And they'd sound very cartoonish. We literally have cartoon characters who talk like this. So if we go for like a Yogi Bear, I'm smarter than the average bear. Or like Pooh Bear.
Yogi Bear's a menace and no one should support him. He steals all the picnic basket from the Rangers who's just doing his job.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, over here we have that kind of hollow voice. Or if I add some breathiness, oh, Christopher Robin, I kind of sound like Pooh Bear right now, okay? Or I'm Patrick, okay? Patrick kind of sounds like this as well.
That hollow kind of an area, we literally have cartoon characters there. It sounds cartoonish. If I go the other place, so I'm in this nice full femme area. If I was to have a heavier vocal weight while maintaining this bright vocal tract size, this bright resonance, I kind of end up sounding like this, okay? It's really buzzy, it's really in your face and annoying, okay? This is going to be that overfull kind of area, all right? Again, it sounds very cartoonish. It doesn't really sound masculine or feminine. It kind of just sounds cartoonish and weird. SpongeBob kind of talks like this, all right? That kind of really annoying sound, that's that overfull kind of a sound, okay? So can everybody have an idea of what fullness is, okay? With that more quote-unquote normal area where I can sound like this and things sound normal and masc, and things can be over here and they're normal and femme, but if I move away from that too much and I end up over here, it just kind of sounds weird.
Or if I end up over here, it kind of sounds weird.
Yeah. Now, important, this doesn't mean you have to have perfectly full voice, all right? Mine's not perfectly full. Mine's a little darker than perfect fullness. If you are American, Americans tend to be very, perfectly full. If you're British, things are a little bit darker usually. It's going to be very, regional. A lot of, Latino voices and accents tend to be a bit more overfull. So there's going to be some variation depending on, regional stuff and where you live and accents and stuff. If you're unsure where you should be, listen to the voices around you, all right? If you're masculizing, listen to the men around you. If you're feminizing, listen to the women around you. look out for those like variations, and try to match that. Tara says, honestly, that's fair. I work daily too. Oh, you guys have got like a conversation going. Only 2 weeks into your voice training, but you're starting to get the hang of it. That's awesome. Well, 2 weeks? That's like insane. I took like 10 months to like get somewhere I'm happy with. And even now I still make like changes like 14 months in or whatever. You have slight Britishness in your voice since you're South African. I didn't know that South African had Britishness in their voice. I suppose that makes sense though. Sifrin's boyfriend Morphe has a really underfull voice. And he's American. He's unusual. Yeah, there's going to be variation. But yeah, so just keep that as like a loose rule. Generally, if your voice sounds too weird to you, it's probably a fullness issue. So look out for that. Also, a common trap that trans people tend to end up in, especially the feminizers, is being overfull. So just watch out for that one in particular, because that seems to be a common one. If you are in linguistics and you hear something called curse of trans voice, that's their word for overfull. I don't really like that term because it just sounds a bit shitty. But yeah, that curse of trans is overfull. That's what they're talking about. Oakley dokley. You've noticed that when your pitch starts to drop, you can catch it by listening closely and making mental note to shift it. Yeah, absolutely. There is nothing wrong with like one of these things going skew-if, okay? If you are aiming for full fem and things go a bit hollow by accident, that's almost a good thing, okay? If you notice it and fix it in real time, that's a good thing, okay? That means you're learning and you're like bringing that routine in of maintaining that brighter area. So yeah, just do that. Can we show an example of overfull? Yeah, so this is me talking in a really overfull area, all right? You can hear I've got that buzziness. That weight is really, really heavy right now. So this is overfull. I need to shed some of that weight so I end up back in a full area. Again, SpongeBob is like a really good example of someone who sounds overfull. Okay, you guys get all of your questions ready. Type all your questions, do all of that. I'm going to go to the toilet real quick. So prepare any questions that you have while I go pee. All right, be right back. Okie dokie, so do we have any more questions about fullness? About to make a D&D joke about Curse of Strahd? I don't know about that, I'm sorry. In reference to the Curse of Transvoice. Dude, I miss D&D. I need to play D&D with some people because I miss that. I mean, I never played, like I've only played like a few campaigns ever. I don't really know D&D that well, but a little I've played has been really fun. So, from what you understand, Mr. Frog is hollow. I don't know who Mr. Frog is, so I can't answer that question. I'm sorry. But if Mr. Frog has a really dark resonance
And is kind of over here, then that's going to be hollow.
paired with like a really light vocal weight. Somebody else says, yes, Mr. Frog is hollow. So, Claire, you're probably correct there. Oh yeah, Bo. Beth is like real big brain, so Beth will give you like the real good nerd stuff. Like Beth knows some voice stuff that I don't know. It's really cool. Isn't it Mr. Toad? I don't know. Might sound a bit silly, but using a Kermit the Frog voice can actually help you notice your throat muscles and how they're engaging. Possibly, I don't know. I do a horrible Kermit the Frog. I would ignore your throat muscles though, and don't worry about how your throat muscles are engaging or any of that stuff. Ignore all of that and just focus on the sound. What often happens is when people focus too much on the muscles and the different things articulating, often strain comes in. That's like really, really common, especially when people do like resonant stuff. Strain really often comes in when people focus too much on their larynx. Don't focus on your larynx, focus on the sound that it's making, all right? That brightness. The only time I want you focusing on muscles is if you are experiencing tension and you're trying to get rid of it. That's the only time I want you focusing on it. All right, if there are no other questions about fullness, then I will move forward. By all means, if you still have a question, you've like just not yet said it, like still say it, it's fine. Okay, so at this stage of your voice journey, okay, you've done your softies. You are the softy fucking hero, okay? You've adjusted your vocal weight. You are as buzzy or as soft as you want to be. You've done your your resonant stuff. You are really nice and bright, or you're really nice and dark, or even if you're somewhere in the middle for someone who's going for androgynous. You've mastered all of that. You've even managed to get all of that weight and vocal tract size like in balance with one another. So we're sounding nice and full, whether we're feminizing or whether we're like androgenizing or masculizing. Note with that, if you're androgenizing, you are either feminizing or masculizing. You're going from where you are and moving, and you're just stopping sooner. That's all androgenizing is. It is feminizing or masculizing, but you just choose to be in that middle part of that graph. Yeah, you've done all of that. You're achieving the category of voice you want, whether that's feminine, masculine, androgynous. Now it's time to choose your voice, okay? Not every woman sounds the same. Not every man sounds the same. Not every NB sounds the same. So there's a whole bunch of things that go into like just the other stuff in voice. We're going to go through some of the popular ones. We'll mainly look at fry, pitch, and breathiness because they are like by far the most popular ones. Twang, nasality, and nodal, like in some voices. But this is like an inexhaustible, like there's loads of things that one can do. This is just a handful. But they get like less and less common. So, vocal fry. This is, if I start talking like this is me talking with vocal fry. Okay, that sort of crackliness. That's vocal fry. Okay. You'll also see it referred to as M0 because you're vibrating your vocal folds in like a totally different way. It's a different vibratory mechanism. We call it the vibratory mechanism 0 or M0. Normal talking is in M1, okay? The first vibratory mechanism. M2 is falsetto. If I'm kind of talking all the way over here, this is me talking with my second vibratory mechanism. So yeah, M0, vocal fry, very, very popular, both in all voices. M0, it's got a lot of weird things going on with it. So first of all, vocal fry, one weird thing it allows us to do is access lower pitches than we normally can. Your pitch is a little bit tied to your vocal weight, in that if you have a really, really light vocal weight, you can't access the same low pitches as with a heavier vocal weight. So for example, if I go, I'll start in a heavy vocal weight, and I'm going to reduce my vocal weight and my pitch at the same time, and then I'm just going to reduce my pitch, and you'll notice it cut off sooner. So, and then at this kind of area, I can't really go any lower than this, because otherwise it just kind of cuts out, and you can hear as I try to go lower, I just end up whispering. Yeah? So that lighter vocal weight, it raises the ceiling of your pitch. If we wanted to get that access back again, we can use vocal fry. Okay, that vocal fry allows us to go real low. All right, so if you're masculizing, it can be useful to use vocal fry to reach lower pitches if you want to. If you're feminizing, it was a really cool thing we can do for feminizing. That vocal fry, essentially, because everybody, even if you don't know it, you intuitively know that vocal fry is allowing you more access to lower pitches. It almost sounds effortful a little bit. So if let's say as a feminine speaker, if every time I went down to a certain pitch threshold, I started adding vocal fry, then it would sound like that's my pitch floor. So what you can do is, here's your pitch floor. Every time you go here, you apply vocal fry, it'll sound like this is your pitch floor. And everyone will think that that's the lowest you can go, when really you could go way lower. So that's just like a little hack that people can do, which is quite fun. Black side of that, vocal fry can just be a nice little thing that people do. It can communicate a whole bunch of stuff. Also, if you're tired, you're probably going to be using more vocal fry. I certainly do. If we have like a really late, you can already hear like bits of vocal fry coming into my voice, whereas normally I don't use much of it. As we get later and later, you'll probably hear more and more vocal fry as I get tired. Yeah, it's just a common thing that people do when they're tired. But if you like the sound of it, add it. Yeah, with all these things, it's just if you like it, go for it. Pitch, you'll notice I'm putting pitch in this sort of non-gendered customization stuff. Pitch is sort of, I call it gendered 0.5. So it doesn't really affect the gendering at all, but there are averages that the different genders use. Generally speaking, women use a higher pitch. Generally speaking, men use a lower pitch. However, if a man was to use a higher pitch, it would sound like a man using a higher pitch. And if a woman was to use a lower pitch, it would sound like a woman using a lower pitch. I myself have quite a low pitch relative to probably a lot of you in my feminine voice. In fact, my pitch doesn't really change much between this voice and this voice here. My pitch hasn't really changed almost at all. This is because I am, again, British, and British speakers tend to have lower pitches. So this is just, yeah, it's what works for me. It's what feels best for me. You choose whatever pitch you want to choose. That's sort of really up to you. Meryl says that she needs to go soon. You're finding yourself zoning out a bit. No problem at all. If you want, you can go back over the VOD to like relearn some of this. Do I have a timetable for training, like a workout schedule? I don't have one specifically because it's going to depend on like you and your life. What I recommend though, again, 3, 4, 5 times a day. That's what I want you to be going for. Okay, minimum of 3 practices a day. Okay, practice doesn't have to be like an hour long or anything. It can literally be like do a couple of lip trills or like do one of those drills we went through earlier. Whatever it is that you're learning, like if you're learning weight, go for the Can I do a little bit of talking? Hi, my name's Meryl. This is me talking. Or
Hi, this is me, Meryl. This is me talking right now, okay? I'm talking and I'm just practicing my voice a little bit. Versus and now I'm kind of talking like this a little bit. Yeah?
Just talk a little bit. A nice one can be like I would back when I was learning how to do my voice, I would like tell myself my plans for the day out loud. If it was like the start of the day or if it was closer to the end, I would tell myself like what I've done today in like a Dear Diary kind of way. And just like do that out loud. We always want to be moving eventually towards just talking. And I found that's a really good one so that you can just talk for a little bit. Yeah, even if you just practice for like 30 seconds, that counts. You found tongue twisters help you? Yeah, that's going to have like you focusing a lot. So yeah, that might help. A lot of people will spend a lot of time reading and like that's good for learning something new. But for really good practice, I want you just talking. So anything that you can just talk about, whether you summarize a topic to yourself or just anything where you have to talk, just off the top of your head, that's what we want. So yeah, 30 seconds of practice counts as a practice. 3, 4, 5 times a day, that's what I want, every day, okay? If you're struggling to like remember to do that, because like I have horrendous ADHD probably, which I'm desperately trying to get treated. And yes, I found it really, really difficult to get my practice going. So what I did was on my phone, my background for my phone, I literally like wrote on the background and like replaced the image with practice and then whatever it was that I was practicing at that time, so that every time I looked at my phone, it would remind me to practice. Also, every time I walked the dog, walks are really, really good for voice practice because you don't really have anything else to do at the time. So every time I would walk my dog, I would have like a really big practice as I was walking the dog. When you're driving, it can be a good time to practice. Remember that when you're driving, there's a lot of sound, so you might accidentally go louder. So just be aware of that, but it's still a good practice environment. Whenever you're making yourself a drink, whether it's a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or getting some water, just like tie it into a behaviour, that can help you practice more. I hope that's a long enough spiel on practice. You're super welcome, Meryl. I hope it helps. Okay, yeah, so we've gone over fry. We talked a little bit about pitch. Again, yeah, pitch is like not super gendered, but there are like averages. So yeah, if you want like a higher pitched voice, go for a high pitched voice. If you want a low pitched voice, go for a low pitched voice. Really, your preference trumps everything on all these things, but especially these customization things. Wow, we've already been going for nearly 2 hours. So, okay, breathiness. This is another popular one. Breathiness is literally, if I output more air, it's going to sound breathier. So if I just like breathe out more as I'm talking, it'll kind of sound breathier like this. So this is me talking now, and I'm much, much breathier. Obviously, I'm running out of air much, much, much quicker because I'm breathing out as I'm talking. But this is going to have that breathier effect. A really common combo that people seem to really like is being a bit more breathy and a bit lower pitch. And that's going to have that kind of sultry thing going on. Some people really, really like that. So if you're really, really wanting that, that's what you do there. And then just accent certain words with a bit of vocal fry without using any vocal fry outside of that. Okay? Yeah, breathiness, it's a very, very simple one. You're just exhaling as you talk. Twang is somewhat common in the South of America. If you do like a wah, wah, in that like cartoon baby crying kind of thing, wah, and then you kind of move that into your talking, okay? And then move that a little bit more into your normal talking. And now I'm talking with a whole bunch of twang. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this one because it's less popular. By all means, just look it up on YouTube. You'll find all sorts of twang. It's a really, really common thing. But yeah, you can use this to sound a little bit louder if you're wanting to. And also, if you're from like the South of America, then you're probably going to be talking quite a lot of twang. So if you're after that, then that's what that is, okay? All right, there's my horrendous like deep South America accent. Yeah, Beth says, also, the sooner you can use the voice in real life, even if in only some contexts, that will give you a quantum leap in progress. Yes, that's absolutely true. Just talking is like the best way to practice. If you're down, like even if you're in a hollow, or like if you're just learning like wait, and that's the only thing you've moved, still practice in that voice.
So if you kind of talk like this at the moment, or if you're kind of talking like, okay, yeah, this is me talking with just like a really light vocal weight. Just talk like this, that's fine. This is really good practice for you learning that vocal weight, all right? Or you'll probably be somewhere similar to this, or it might even sound a bit more like this if you're trying to masculize and you've just done resonance. even if that's the case, just kind of talk like this. It'll sound weird. It's fine. If you're around people you trust, just use the voice, because the more you use it, the more you're going to improve.
Again, if you're willing to just talk like that, like in normal conversations when you're talking to people, you're gonna you will improve so fast doing that. Like, that's the best way you can possibly practice. Which is why I highly encourage anyone that's taking lessons with anyone, even if your vocal teacher hasn't told you to, if you learned something new, do the rest of the lesson in that new voice. Okay? Because that is like such amazing practice. Like, it's the best practice. Nothing trumps it. Just talking and holding conversations in that voice that you're learning. Okay, nasality, you all kind of know what that sounds like. If you go for like a Minecraft villager, and I'm kind of talking like this now.
This is me using like a hyponasality, where there is like not much air coming out of my nose, even when there normally would be.
What else is there? Hypernasality. I'm so bad at hypernasality. That's where more air is going through. I would, if you're interested in nasality, look it up on YouTube. There's tons of resources on this. Nerdle is if I kind of talk a bit more like Stitch at the end of Lilo and Stitch, not the beginning, at the end, because his voice changes. If I kind of talk like this is me using like a ton of Nerdle. If I then kind of scale that back a little bit, now I'm kind of talking a bit more Kermit the Froggy. If I kind of talk over here, and I'm not very good at Kermit the Frog's voice, but this particular element is me kind of talking a bit more like this. Yeah, the only actual person I've ever heard use Nerdle is Jordan Peterson. So I guess if you wanted to emulate his voice, that's how you do it. Just a little bit of Nerdle. Or if you wanted to do like Miss Piggy or Kermit the Frog, this is more one for the voice actors really, but I guess if you want it, it's there. Yeah. There will be other people out there that use Nerdle as well. Just Jordan Peterson is the only one I know. But it is something that people use. All right, any questions about any customization stuff? Yeah, hypernasality is you talking through the nose. Hyponasality is you not using the nose at all. Because certain words will use that nasal cavity and some won't. But if you are like ignoring that rule, then you'll end up being either hypo or hypernasal. I guess a really good example of hyponasal is if I just do this, I will end up like 100% hyponasal. Okay, and I can kind of maintain this. That was horrible.
I can kind of maintain this by doing this. So now I'm kind of like hyponasal.
Okay. The villager sound is how I get into that for myself. Any questions about customization stuff? All of this is just, pick and mix. If you like it, add it in, sort of thing. If you don't like it, get rid of it. I can see a question or comment is being typed, so I'm just waiting to see what that is. Basically, starting from 1st of this year, you've been using your actual voice and putting real effort into it. Honestly, it's been great. There are times when your body still defaults to its natural tone for some words, but you've reached a point where now you have to put effort in to sound like your old self. Yeah, absolutely. The sooner you move into just using what you've learned and applying it to your voice, the better. Even if you haven't achieved a feminine or a masculine or androgynous voice yet, just your best. Apply the things you've learned into your voice and you're going to just improve so fast. That's how the people that say they've done it in like 2 weeks or something insane like that, that's how they did it. They just, everything they learn, they immediately just move that into their voice and use that all the time. Now, also, don't expect to be able to do this in 2 weeks. Some people manage it, but almost nobody does. You should be expecting like a year. So like my voice took me about 10 months, and that's me being so immersed that I ended up just teaching. Famously, Trans Voice Lessons, Ziana, who like spawned all of this stuff. It took her years, like multiple years, to feminize her voice. So not to say that it's going to take you multiple years, but if it does take you ages, that doesn't mean that there's necessarily some big problem. Maybe you need to get like a coach or something. But like, yeah, don't just like give up. I would never ever. A lot of people in certain places talk about like not being able to feminize their voice and stuff. I would say, or masculinize their voice. I would say unless you have like a qualified doctor, like an SLP or something, like diagnose you with something that means you can't do it, you should assume you can do it. Because like if you're able to move your larynx up and down, you're able to brighten your voice. Yeah? Everybody should be able to do that. You might have like a legitimate problem stopping you from doing that, but if nothing's stopping you from doing it, that definitionally means that you can do it. You just need to learn how. So seek help if you're struggling. Again, that can be through me or it can be through anyone. Yeah, never ever ever assume that you just can't do it, because then you're stuck. You may as well always be trying. Okay, if there's no more questions on customization stuff, let's move forward. So this is going to be our last slide. Articulation stuff. For most people, I don't actually know the percentages on this, but for more people, like above 50%, you won't need to do this because it will just come naturally to you. But for some people, myself included, they have to learn this manually. So this is like speech pattern stuff and like the way you talk outside of like the sound of the talking, if that makes sense. So there's a few different things we can think about. There's going to be sharpness. There's like a lot of these, but these are like the main common ones. Also, big thing with speech patterns. They massively vary from different communities, different accents, all sorts of different cohorts of people will have little variations in their speech patterns. So all of this I'm going to say, take it with a really big grain of salt. There's going to be variation. Listen to the people around you. If you're struggling with speech pattern stuff, listen to the people around you and try to figure out how they talk so that you can emulate that in your own voice. All right? I'll be talking from the perspective of like a Western voice. That's going to be certainly Britain, certainly America. I imagine a lot of Europe. Outside of that, probably you'll have some of this applying, but there's a decent chance that it's going to be different. So just be listening to other people with relations to the things I'm talking about here. And I guess everything in their voices. If you have reached this far in your voice, you should be proficient enough with analysing other people's voices to be able to do that. So, okay, let's go into it a little bit. Sharpness. What is sharpness? Okay, this is going to be sharpness versus muddiness. All right? If I make a sound t, t, t versus t, 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 okay? There's like the t is a very clear and precise and sharp t versus that ch, which is a bit muddier. It's not quite as clear. There's almost like a ch sound coming into there. That's sharpness. All right? Imagine like a closed hi-hat. That's going to make a t, t, t kind of a sound. An open hi-hat is going to make a t, t, t kind of a sound. All that's happening is my tongue's moving back a bit for the muddier, or closer to my teeth for the sharper. So, generally, a more feminine voice is going to sound sharper. This isn't just the t sound. T, k, d, any of those sorts of sounds. I don't remember the name of those sounds. If anybody knows a bunch about linguistics or phonemes, then they can let me know in the chat right now what category I'm talking about right now. But t, k, d, all of those are going to be sharper in feminine voices. It's that sort of like extra precision, extra clearness in a feminine voice that we're talking about here. All right. So try that hi-hat thing, but just. And that should help you to figure out what we're talking about. Tomorrow, what else starts with T? Tomorrow, I will be talking a lot on our live stream. Okay? Yeah, just play around with different things like that. Repeat is another one. Yeah, that clarity and that sharpness and that precision in your speaking is going to make it sound more feminine. That almost like, not to poo-poo men, but that laziness, that muddiness, that is going to make it sound more masculine. Okay. Other things. There is the vowel elongation in feminine voices versus the more consonant focus in masculine voices. Okay, this isn't just like stretching the vowels out, but also focusing on them in words more will make it more feminine. So if you listen to my voice, I will stretch out the vowels, and I will almost like skip over the consonants. I'll go like really crazy on that just to demonstrate. Tara has just said, and I'm going to read this out, listen to where the focus is on my words. All right? Listen to the vowels versus the consonants. Step 1, find a voice. Step 2, listen to the way it sounds. Sounds is a really good example of what I'm doing here. Sounds. You can almost hear I'm like skipping over the consonants. I'm just like moving past those really quickly, and I'm spending all the time on that vowel. Sounds. The D I'm like barely on for like a micro moment, you know? So hopefully you can kind of hear that difference. If I was to now talk in a more masculine way, sounds. Do you hear how there's way more focus on that D? Sounds. I'm almost like skipping over the consonants, the vowels, sounds, so that I can get back to a consonant sooner. Yeah? So that's going to be the difference there in that vowel elongation versus a more focus on like the consonants. All right? Hopefully that's reasonably clear. All of these things, by the way, I know it's a ton to think about at once. We're going to bring them all together in a much like easier to try way once I go over all of this. So we've got that vowel versus consonants focus. Pitch movements. Generally speaking, in a more feminine speech pattern, our pitch is going to flow from one note to the other. And it's also going to move around a lot more. In a more masculine, it's going to be a lot more monotonous, and it's going to jump up and down as it's talking more. Okay? Yeah, so if I'm kind of talking like this and I'm kind of moving around, this is me talking in a much more feminine pattern. But if I say this, and then I say this, and then I say this is me talking in a much more masculine speech pattern. It's a lot more assertive, and that's just the pattern. There's also that increased amount of movement that you'll have. I like to, for the feminine speakers, I would say, as you're talking, draw like a wave in your brain, okay? So I'm kind of talking like this, and then I'm kind of talking like this. And as I'm talking, there's going to be all of these peaks and troughs in my voice, and I'll just be moving up and down in that pitch as I'm talking, okay? It's also flowing from one note to the other, yeah? Like a wave, all right? In a more masculine speech pattern, I want you to be like dots moving up and down, okay? And I'm not going to move as much, all right? So you can hear, I do have some movement somewhat, but it's generally I'm over here, and then I'm over here, and then I'm over here, all right? Hopefully that's reasonably clear, all right? A feminine voice tends to be more wavy and flowy, when a more masculine voice is often more rigid and steady. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Okay, that's a ton of stuff to think about as you're talking. Like, that's super huge brain overload as you're talking. So as a way to practice this and just reduce that burden is we're going to bring all of those together in a single concept. We're going to do this with like almost like an impression kind of a thing. So for the feminizers, I want you to imagine, okay, that you're a kindergarten or nursery teacher, all right, and you're going to read out a fairy story to like a bunch of 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds, okay? So we can, if you listen to my voice, listen for those things that I was just talking about, all right? The flowiness, the movement in pitch, that vowel focus, that sharpness and clarity, okay? Listen for that as I go into this, all right? Once upon a time, in a land far, far away. Yeah? Do you hear? In my voice, there's much more flowiness. It's gentle, so that'll help you for vocal weight stuff. All right? The pitch is moving up and it's moving down. You can hear when I go over here, this is a really high pitch, all right? But sometimes it's still going over here and then I'm bringing it back down again, all right? This is me talking as if I'm talking to like children and I'm reading out to them because I want to maintain their focus, but I want it to be really interesting, all right? Yeah, and really simple to understand. So it's slower, it's more flowy, yeah, speaking to children, all right? That's going to give you that feminine speech pattern to like a really extreme degree. So then you kind of go from this where you're talking like this, and then you'll slowly move it back into your normal kind of talking, all right? And you'll end up somewhere in between, hopefully. And yeah, just kind of normalize that, and hopefully you'll sound kind of like how I'm sounding right now with that feminine speech pattern. Okie dokie. Now, if you're masculizing, instead of that teacher, we're going to go for President Obama, okay? Or any president doing a speech, all right?
And they're going to kind of talk about the State of the Union. You see, right now, the economy. I'm talking over here, and then I'm going to talk over here. I'm really trying to make this point clear, and then I'm telling you to go over here, okay? I'm doing this in steps. Everything is moving, and then There is no flow to it. It's very commanding. It's very this is happening, and then this is happening, okay? I don't know. This is war. We are going to war now. All right? Very clear. Well, I guess, yeah, the clarity is still going to be very... But it's commanding, is my point. It wasn't really clear. It's for clearness I was going for. It's for commandingness. This is war.
Yeah. President Obama has like a really, really good demonstration of this. So I really like his speeches for this. Obama has that pitch movement. He's not actually very monotonous. So if you're wanting a more expressive but still masculine voice, I would say listen for what he does in his movement. He still has that very staggered movement where it's like in steps instead of flowing from one to the other. But he'll still have that decent bit of like, he's not that monotone. So if the monotony is an issue for you, because you're struggling to like express much and like emote, then just make sure you're really big on the staggeredness of it, and you'll still be able to have that, if that's something you want. Or just go for monotony. Again, a masculine voice isn't totally monotonous. That would sound like a robot. It's just more monotonous than a feminine voice. Okie dokie. Any questions about that speech pattern stuff, that articulation stuff, before we move to the open forum section? I'm getting hungry now. I haven't eaten yet. I'll get to eat afterwards. Beth has linked a little clip for Masculine Voice Fair if anyone's trying to check that out. Yeah, any questions about our speech pattern stuff? EP versus Hungary. The eternal struggle. Yes, indeed. Yep, I'm going to be both of those after this workshop. Okay, no questions about our speech pattern stuff. It's good. Hopefully that means you understood. If there is something you haven't understood, make sure you're asking the question, okay? I don't want anyone being left behind. Yep, if I'm seeing no questions, I assume that everybody perfectly understands this. You learnt new things. I'm so glad, Samlia, sorry. That was so good. I'm glad. I'm glad it was able to help you. You joined in late. Will there be a VOD? Yep, we've basically finished the main workshop. We're now going into the open bit where I'll work like one-on-one with individual audience members if they choose to. But the VOD is on YouTube, youtube.com/@transnetwork-12. If you just type in Transnetwork onto YouTube, it's the first one. You'll see the logo. Make sure it's the same logo and you'll know it's the same thing. Or if you click on just my user in Discord, there's a link to the YouTube, or it's below me, just read. So yeah, the VOD is there. It will be there forever. So yeah. Citronella's going to head out now. No worries. Thank you for coming. Yeah, no worries, Umbre. If you want, like, it's live right now on the YouTube. So, like, go over there, play at, like, I don't know, whatever the fastest speed is that you can still understand everything really clearly. So you'll eventually catch up to us. If you want. Or just rewatch a VOD. Okay, well, if there are no further questions, we will move over to our little open bit. So, see you in a second. Hello. Hey. That white box there. Nope. That white box there. That's very weird because that's flipped for me. That white box there is meant to be YouTube chat. I haven't set it up properly yet. It's been like that for weeks. I'm so sorry. I will get that sorted so that YouTube chat will eventually show up here. There's not been anybody over there at YouTube so far today, so that's no big deal. But yeah, if anyone was wondering what the big white box is, that's what it is. Before we go into the into this bit, I will plug all my stuff again. So, as I've just been saying, YouTube's is... Let's have a look. Where is YouTube's? YouTube's is there. Yeah, that's the YouTube link. Check out the YouTube, Transnetwork, youtube.com/@transnetwork-12. Over here? Yep, over here you can check out the Discord. God, that's so difficult when everything's flipped. Yeah, you can check out the Discord. That's where I give a free private lessons. Everything I do, like the central hub, is going to be the Discord. We have like fun little community events we do sometimes. So that's really fun. We do like Jackbox and, you know, just stuff like that. And we all hang out. It's a really nice, supportive place. So I highly recommend the Discord if you want just a really good training environment. And if you're just interested in everything I'm doing here, Discord is where you can get absolutely everything. Again, everything that I provide voice-wise, I do for free. Nothing is paywalled whatsoever. Even like private lessons I give for free. So if you have the funds to do so, I do ask if people can support me by subscribing over at the Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/transnetwork. Again, link is right above me. Right now I work a full-time job, so my time for teaching is very limited. If we get to 100 people subscribing on the Ko-fi, then I will be able to like take a full day off work every single week. We'll literally be able to double the amount of lessons we do just from that. I say 100. We don't actually need 100. That's assuming that everybody was on the lowest tier. The higher you are on it, the closer we'll get to being able to do this full time. So yeah, that would be genuinely super, super helpful. Thank you so much to anybody that gives money, because that's huge. You're directly funding people learning voice. Also, I'm currently saving up really super hardcore because Seattle Voice Lab has a certification program so that you can get the sort of Seattle Voice Lab seal of approval to be like a real deal vocal coach. So that's what I'm saving up for. If you want to support people getting taught voice stuff for free, then please do subscribe over there, because that's going to help me with my education, and it's going to unlock like more days that I can dedicate to teaching. So generally huge thank you to anybody that subscribes there. We do have like some content that will just be on there. None of it is voice stuff. It's all just like funsy stuff. We do have like, if there's just something I'm thinking about with voice, then I'll have like rants and ramblings and just my thoughts on stuff over there. There's just general rants and ramblings on like random topics that I'm interested in, and just my thoughts on just random stuff. I'll be having stuff like, I go for a walk with my dog and I'll film it and you get to like go on a walk with me. Or I'm planning on doing like some cooking content on there for people that just want to learn to cook, I suppose. Random stuff is going to be on there. Just as some little, give something as a thank you. But yeah, enough shilling, okay? I'll go over chat and then we'll ask the audience if anybody wants some help with anything. May take a slightly longer break, but you'll be back hopefully not too long. No problem at all. If not, you'll watch a YouTube video. Yeah, if there's anything you've missed, or if there's anything you want to go back over, the VOD for this is going to be on the YouTube for eversies. So yeah, definitely check that out. Not going to allow you to attend the cooking stuff. Well, subscribe to the Ko-fi. That's where that's all going to be. Zara, generally from the bottom of your heart, thank you for all the work I do. Well, you're very, very welcome, Causa. I enjoy this, and I'm very happy to help. So, and Claire says it's been helpful. I am so glad that this is helpful for you guys. Okie dokie, so one at a time, all right? Would anybody like some help with just anything voice? You got any questions? You want me to look over your voice? Speak now or forever hold your peace. It's okay if nobody is feeling it right now. Keep in mind that if you do speak, you are live on YouTube. So totally get it if you don't feel comfortable doing it. But if anybody wants to, I always allow for that opportunity. M doesn't like being the first one, so if somebody else wants to go first, then M can go second. Otherwise, I'm not hearing anybody talking, so you might be the first one. You want to practice yourself first, Corsa? Yeah, that's totally fair enough. Like I say, I do these every single week as well. So if for whatever reason you didn't feel comfortable doing it right now, come next week. That's totally fine. I will check that DM later, Tara. I don't generally do much with DMs and stuff. So really, if you want me, you should go to the Discord. But I will still check stuff after here. And if it's something I can like answer quickly, then I will do so. But I don't generally like chit chat in DMs. Yeah, the Discord is the best place for that sort of thing. Also, I should say, the Discord specifically, everywhere is open to everyone apart from the Discord. The Discord, I'm afraid, is 18+. My reasoning for this is I'm very uncomfortable with the lack of security for minors on Discord. I don't like that somebody could join my Discord and then somebody else could join and message them without me knowing or without Discord checking in on that. So that's why I don't really do DMs with people. I don't recommend it with people. And although that's up to you, I don't moderate that. But that's why the Discord is 18+, because I can't protect a minor within their own DMs. So I'm afraid because of that, it's 18+. That doesn't mean that it's like NSFW or anything. It is strictly safe for work. But it is 18 plus simply because I'm not able to protect minors within that space. So I'm very sorry if you are under the age of 18. As soon as you turn 18, head on over. But yeah, you'd still be welcome over at the Ko-fi. You'd still be welcome on YouTube's. If you're in one of your Discords, by all means, come along to the workshops and stuff. But within my own Discord, that is the ruling, I'm afraid. And hopefully you can understand. Claire asks, you might record something, but you hate doing stuff live. Yeah, that's totally fine. If you wanted to as well, you can record something, and if you join the Discord, I have like a little like clip submission thing, so you can submit a clip there, and I'll go over it when I have a chance. So yeah. And if nobody wants to go right now, that's totally fine. We can just finish off.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
The Discord is
so
over there.
why for some reason when I'm talking, like, maybe because I'm talking too fast, but I feel like my breath is cutting. Like, okay, if I'm talking like for a long time and like go higher a bit, I feel like it's kind of hard to not hard to breathe. It's kind of my breath is being slower. Like, kind of I need to take longer breath.
Okay, if you're finding that you're running out of air quicker, you're probably going breathy. I didn't really hit... Can I keep talking just so I can listen now that I know what I'm listening out for?
Okay, so basically this is the way I'm probably like feminine my voice.
Okay. I'm hearing... So in some of your words and some of your speech, I'm not generally hearing a lot of breathiness, but sometimes I do hear a bit of breathiness.
Yeah,
so
and I think if I go like upper more, it's like it's gonna be harder to breathe.
yeah, so do you feel yourself... I can just ask you, do you feel yourself breathing out as you're talking? Like, are you breathing out almost through the words?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. We're going too breathy then. So scale back the amount we're breathing. Don't scale back the amount we're breathing, but like breathe out less as you're talking. Does that make sense? It wants to be the same sort of talking as you normally do in your unmodified voice. Just maintain it as a normal speech with regards to the breathiness. You shouldn't be breathing out more in order to go femme. Does that make sense?
Wait, can you say it again?
So you shouldn't need to breathe out more in your femme voice than you do in your masc voice, okay? So the way you talk in your unmodified voice, keep that, okay? Don't breathe out more, if that makes sense.
So I don't need to like breathe.
Your breathing
less?
shouldn't change from masculine to feminine.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, no worries. So practice that. What you can do, if you're just struggling to get a pin on this, then try doing more of the thing that you're doing wrong. So you know it's like at a really extreme, and then bring it back again. So like if you're going too breathy and you just can't quite grasp how to edit your breathiness, lean into it. Go like super, super breathy, where we're almost exhaling the entire amount in like a single sentence. So super, super, super breathy, and then start bringing that away again so that you can start figuring out how to do that and how to manipulate it. Does that make sense?
Oh, so I need to learn how to manipulate the breathing with the voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I
So
get it.
if you're struggling to go less airflow, go more airflow instead, just so you know how to do it, and then bring it back again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's make complete sense.
Yeah, okay, great. Have that go in your practices.
For me, like for now, I'm doing great. I'm trying to talk like outside, which helping me like talk with people like, outside. It's kind of like I feel like my voice is getting much easier to to control.
Good.
As much as I'm talking like much, even like when I'm doing anything, I'm trying to talk even like with myself.
Yeah, great.
as
That's wonderful.
And then I do like compare my voice with masculine and feminine. But I kind of also like I kinda even like my dead voice. I kinda ready to use my dead voice. It's like more I'm using my feminine voice like most of the time, even like outside.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying now to do is like even like it's kind of a bit hard for me, but like I'm trying to go comparing the masculine voice and the feminine voice, so I know when I go and I break down, because like I feel like sometimes I break down to the masculine one.
Yeah, so that can be really useful for us as a practice thing of just bouncing back and forth between your masculine and your feminine voice, whether you're feminizing or masculizing. If you move quickly between the two, that can help you for like solidifying just how to go straight into your voice. Like a cold start, we call it. Like if I'm talking like this and then I just move it up here and I move back down to here and I move back over to here, this is going to help for that cold start so you can just do it. Other things that can help with that is like building a mantra phrase. So the classic one is heat from fire, fire from heat, because that's one that Ziana used in her thing in Trans Voice Lessons. But you can do anything, any phrase that helps you get into your desired voice is fine. It can be literally anything. We can also have like recovery words, but again, words that we've built that are like words we can use to very easily get into our voice, that are words that can be thrown into any sentence. So like if you get really, really good at just like or like or so or anything like that, anything that you can just do in the middle of any sentence, then if you're struggling, you just bring out an you can do that anywhere. Whenever you're talking, you can just go and that can help you move back into your fem voice. So yeah,
I actually noted I'm doing like a couple of times recently, just because I feel like easier for me to go back to my feminine voice. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of a small break.
yeah, it's called a recovery phrase.
But like how to do like heat from fire, fire from heat? Can you just tell me an example?
Yeah, so it's the exact same process. I think a recovery phrase is more useful than a mantra phrase, because a recovery phrase you can use in the middle of a sentence. But the idea behind a mantra phrase is literally just anything that you find in your voice training it's like a sentence or something that you use that helps you just get into your fem voice. That is a mantra phrase. So ones that I used, because I'm a gardener, and so that a lot involves me being on the phone quite often. So one of the things I practiced when I was like trying to figure out different stuff is, hi, this is Zara, because that's me answering the phone. Hi, this is Zara. And so that became one of my mantra phrases of, hi, this is Zara.
Oh,
Does that make sense? Because it's just something I was
Yeah,
practicing.
yeah, that makes sense.
I did this in the most silly way possible because I just built a bunch of mantra phrases and no recovery phrases. So like, hi, Sarah, or Monday. Monday was one that I used because I would often practice like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'd go through all of that. So Monday ended up being one of my mantra phrases as well. But yeah, just a word or sentence or phrase that helps you get into your femme voice or your masc voice or your androgynous voice is a mantra phrase.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you.
No worries. You're super, super welcome. All right, anybody else? Who else has some questions and stuff? I don't know if Em wanted to give it a go or if anybody else wants to. Whoever speaks first gets to go. Oh, Em, you want to go next? Okay, go for it. How can I help you?
Hello. So,
Hi.
I'm still working on more, what was it, pitch variation. I think we've talked about that pretty much every time, just because my
Yep,
voice is
it's
just
fair enough.
naturally really monotone, so... Yeah, I think I'm doing a decent job right now, but normally when I talk for a little bit, I just sort of fall back into it and end up talking really monotone, so yeah.
Okay, something I noticed in your voice there, okay? So you kind of talk like this, and then you talk like this, then you talk like this, and then you talk like this. Do you notice the speech pattern that I'm going for right now? I mentioned it earlier, when I'm kind of talking like this and like this.
Yeah, so like more,
If I was to start
So
talking
instead of
about the
just
state
going
of the
back and forth-
economy and I start talking like this, and this is me talking, and right now we are going to war. Do you notice that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that sort of presidential, that masculine speech pattern, that's what I'm hearing as well. So you might find some benefit instead of like jumping up and down in your pitch, try flowing between them. So instead of talking like this and then like this and then like this, try flowing from one to the other. So you're talking like this and then you're talking like this. I hear you talk quite fast. This can be quite common for fast speakers to sort of jump up and down. So it might help if you slow down just during your practices. You can bring that speed back up as you like get more proficient with this. Yeah, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, you're definitely right.
Mhm.
I told myself actually just before I started talking that I was going to do it slower. And then the moment I started doing it, I just completely went right out the window.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's fair enough. It happens. So, okay, let's do the kindergarten teacher thing. Okay, let's just straight up pull up. Hang on a second. Okay, what should we go for? We'll go for The Little Mermaid. Why not? Okay, I'm going to paste this first paragraph. Why can't I? What the heck? I can't copy and paste this. That's dumb. You're not allowed to copy content or view source. Well, why the heck not? You used to let me. Okay, we'll go to a different website. And we'll go for continue recommended. Okay, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. All right, perfect. So, which Discord are we in? We are in Transvoice. All right, so here is the first little bit of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I want you to read that out, and I want you to imagine, okay, that you're that kindergarten teacher and you're reading this out to like small children, okay? Once upon a time, there were 3 bears who lived together in a house of their own in a wood. A house of their own in a wood. That's me not reading it first. One of them was a small wee bear. One was a middle-sized bear. And the other was a great huge bear. Yeah, give that a go.
Right? Once upon a time, there were 3 bears who lived together in a house of their own in a wood. One of them was a little, small wee bear. One was a middle-sized bear, and the other was a great huge bear.
Yeah, that was way, way better. That was really, really, really good. I think keep practicing, dramatize it even more. Like almost like you're like you don't talk normal, talk like in the character, really crazy. Like once upon a time, there were 3 bears who lived together in a house of their own in a wood. One of them was a little small wee bear. One was a middle-sized bear, and the other was a great huge bear. Really go crazy with it, yeah? Try that.
Right? Should I try it again?
Mm-hmm.
Once upon a time, there were 3 bears who lived together in a house of their own in a wood. One of them was a little, small wee bear. One was a middle-sized bear, and the other was a great huge bear.
That was perfect. That was really, 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 really good. I highly recommend after this, go back to the VOD, go to this moment, okay? And listen back to your voice there. That was perfect, okay? So do a bunch of practice with that, all right? Get really, really into the habit of slowing things down and like going for that really like fairy tale talking, and then start bringing components of that back into your normal speech. You don't have to be as dramatic as that in your normal speech. I'm not as dramatic as that. And the speed, you can go all the way back up to your normal speed if you want to. But try to maintain those elements of flow. Yeah? Does that make sense?
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, great. All right. Okay then. Is there anyone else that would like some one-on-one attention? Excuse me. Nobody else? Okie dokie then. Alright, well if nobody else would like anything... Oh, I see someone typing. Yeah, you'd love to, Claire? Go for it. Oh, but you're too scared. Bless you. Okay, well tell you what, Claire. We'll wait and see if anybody else wants some help. And then I'll still stick around a little bit after the workshop. So once I'm not live, if you'd like, if that's the issue, then you can talk to me after the YouTube has finished, away from YouTube. If the group call is just too much, then join the Discord, I suppose. And you can ask me over there. Oakley dokley. Would anybody else like some help one-on-one?
I guess I could ask for something.
Yeah, go for it.
The thing is, whenever I talk for extended periods of time, I feel myself sliding off into do you know Heimerdinger from Arcane?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I feel like I slowly slide into the speech pattern he has.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to see what part of speech does how does the change happen, so that I could maybe find ways to possibly prevent it, possibly not even prevent it, but just see how to jump back.
Okay, I'm going to play a little clip from Arcane, just so I can remember what he sounds like. Give me just a moment. You should all be able to hear it as well. And I'm going to interrupt this a little bit so that YouTube doesn't go crazy. YouTube can't see it, so hopefully it won't be a problem. I'll even skip around.
Find the physical body.
I'm...
The mind is still free. I do love a good conundrum.
Okay. Heimerdinger's voice. If I kind of increase my vocal weight a little bit, now I'm kind of ending up a bit more like Heimerdinger, okay? I do love a good conundrum. Yeah, so if I add a bit of vocal weight, this is going to get me in that Heimerdinger kind of an area. So what's probably happening is you're adding a little bit of vocal weight. Your vocal weight is sliding back to heavy, so you just need to pull it back again. Yeah? So if I give you... in fact, no, I won't give you a piece of text. I will... We don't want spoilers for Arcane Season 2, so I'm not going to ask you about Arcane. But I'm going to ask you a question so that you can just talk for a little bit, and we'll see what happens. Okay? Do you play League?
I don't, but I know some stuff about League.
Or just what's a topic that you feel like you can talk about for, a minute or so? Any topic. Here we go. Trans Academy. You're in Trans Academy right now. How did you find Trans Academy? How did that enter your life? Tell me. If you feel comfortable talking about that.
Alright, so...
And I want you to watch out for that vocal weight, okay?
Yeah, so, the thing is, the first time I had ever, heard about Trans Academy is actually through you, when you
Fair
mentioned
enough.
it, I think, 2 days ago in Seattle Voice Labs.
Oh,
voice chat.
I do remember you. I was like, how do I already have, settings on your user volume? Okay, hi again. I knew I recognised you. Okay, well, how did you come to Seattle Voice Lab?
Alright, so Seattle Voice Labs. At first, I heard about them as a mention, like, generally throughout Discord and stuff, but the great motivating moment for me was when I heard Abigail Fawn talk about
Yeah.
the Seattle Voice Labs and how, like, oh, they're such a great service in one of her videos. And basically from there, I looked at the website, but I kind of got, I don't know, shooed away. Well, not like shooed away, but
It's a little bit expensive.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also the fact that it's a service that is based in America, but being in Europe, there is going to be a bit of a problem time-wise, so...
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, so what I'm hearing in your voice, I actually think your weight control is really good. You're saying a really nice and light weight, so I actually don't think that's an issue at all. I think your resonance could be a little bit brighter. Right now, you're sort of almost like young boy kind of area. I think if you brightened it a little bit, you get that femme. I think also you have quite a masculine speech pattern going on. So I think if you were to go back over the speech pattern stuff we went over before, have a little play with that and bring that more feminine speech pattern, I think that's going to help you as well. So brighten your resonance and then have a little play with your speech pattern stuff. How does that sound?
Good.
Yep, no worries. All right, good luck with that. You're very, very welcome. Would anybody else like some help with anything? That's quite a common thing, by the way. If you're finding that you sound like a young boy instead of like an adult woman, that's usually going to be speech pattern stuff. Could be some stuff with resonance as well. I think in this person's case it was. But often that's going to be speech pattern stuff. Oh, Claire, sorry. You can't find the link to the Discord. It should be right below me right now. It's on the stream, but in unreadable letters. I do have that issue. In the stream description, it's cut off. Oh, I didn't realise that. I must have messed something up there. I'm so sorry. If you click on my profile, there should be a link to it. Is that actually on Vizara's 131? It isn't. Okay, I need to fix that. I don't feel like I can like post it in Trans Voice. I feel like that's a bit scummy. How can I do this for you? Just DM me. I'll send you a link. Or anyone else that's in Trans Network. You can DM them. Oh, that's nobody. Oh, M can give you a link, I suppose. Or just send me a DM if you're just struggling to get the link from anywhere. Is it not on the... Surely you can get it on the YouTubes. YouTube.com/Trans Network. If you're on the YouTube... if I click... Yeah, on the YouTube there should be a link. There's a link on the YouTube. Right at the top. Yeah, so just go onto the channel on YouTube. But is it not working on the on YouTube? Oh yeah, there's a link in the description of YouTube. Is that not working? Hopefully that works. The one in the YouTube description is broken. Oh no. Okay, but the one on the channel is fine. Okay, thank you for letting me know. I will fix that in future. I don't know. Can I still edit that? Maybe I can still edit that. No, I can't edit it now. Dang. Wait, if I go into the control panel? No, I can't. Rip. If anybody knows a way I can do that within OBS right now, tell me, but I don't think I can. yeah, if you go onto YouTube, youtube.com/@transnetwork, it should be right up top. It works? Okay, good. Okay. I will make sure in future that it's working properly. Yeah, neither of those links are linking either, are they? Like the Ko-fi one doesn't... I can't click through that. You'd have to like copy and paste it, which is really annoying. I don't know why that's the case. It's not hyperlinked. All right, well, if nobody else wants one-on-one attention, then I will sign off there. So goodbye, YouTube. We love you lots and lots. Thank you so much for coming. Anybody that's not on YouTube right now, which I don't think is anybody, but that's okay. Sometimes there is. So yeah, if you're watching this on the YouTubes, then make sure you join the Discord. That's going to be like the main hub for everything. And yeah, stay tuned for other stuff in the future. These workshops happen every single Saturday, 7 p.m. GMT. Unless, like, I don't know, I have something going on, but almost every single Saturday, 7 p.m. GMT. Yeah. Okay. All right. Bye-bye, YouTube. Everybody say bye to YouTube.